start on our Airbnb series per se. The introduction is over, so let's jump right into the interesting part. I'm going to do the setup in this episode, and I'm going to show you how the structure of the whole project is, and only then are we going to start writing code in the next lesson, which is going to be probably on the authentication. I'm still trying to decide that, but yeah, I'm going to do the setup in the OS that I have installed at the moment, which is Manjaro. As I said in the introduction video, you are free to use Ubuntu, Windows, even Mac OS. The thing is, some of the commands are different because I'm using package managers that are unique to Arch Linux, which Manjaro is based on. And because of that, some things will be different, but the steps that you have to take are the same. Just where you are going to install those packages from is different. Okay, so I'm going to leave in the description a list of all the links that I use to install in Manjaro and in Ubuntu. Okay, so you can check them out if you have either of them. You can simply install Manjaro in a virtual machine if you are comfortable with it. That way it will be exactly the same and it will be much easier for you. So let's jump right into it. And the first thing that we are going to do is install NVM and Node.js. So to do that, I'm going to open up not Chrome, but Firefox. Let me just give it a second because I have it there. Okay, so for NVM, I'm going to follow a couple of commands. The first one is a curl command, and I'm going to just open up the terminal here. I'm in the root folder, and I'm going to paste it here. All of these commands are in the description as well. I'm not going to expect you to write all of this, but yeah. So this will just create a bash file, which we can then install the NVM package from. One thing that you have to be mindful of is that at the time of making this video, the latest version is 0.44.0. And for you to check if you are installing the latest version, you can simply go into the GitHub page of the NVM and come in here and you'll see the version. So 0.44.0. Okay, so I'm using the latest one. I'm going to quickly grab the package. Okay, now if I do a quick ls, then I'll have the install nvm.sh in here. Okay, then in order to actually install it, I'm going to run this command bash install nvm.sh, and it is going to say that nvm is already installed because I already have nvm in this computer. But I'm still going to take you through all the steps just to show you guys how to do it. Then let's place source root profile, and then to wrap things up, you just have to do nvm install 12.10.0, and this 12.10.0 is the latest version of Node.js, which you can find by going to the nodejs.org page and just check this number out. Okay, just do nvm install, and it is going to say that this version is already installed, so I don't have to do anything else. Then, and at the end, just to check that everything is correctly installed, you can simply say node space -v, and it will give you the version of the current node installation. And you can do the same for nvm, not npm, nvm space -v. Okay, I realized it was a dumb mistake. So I was doing nvm -v when I was meant to do npm -v. So nvm is the node version manager, and npm is the package manager for node packages. Okay, so as you can see, I have the 6.10.3. You will have the latest one, and yeah, we can go from there. So right now, Node is correctly installed in our OS. And the next thing that we are going to install is MongoDB, which is the database that we are going to use, and we must install it in our machines. So in order to do that, I'm going to come in here, and this is our repository. and it contains a bunch of packages that you can install in Manjaro. So this part is only relevant for Manjaro. If you have Ubuntu or others, then you have to go to different places. But I just type in MongoDB, and I'm going to put the popularity at the top, and I have this package right here which functions well, which is MongoDB/bin. And in order to install it, I'm simply going to use the Yahoo's package manager, which in my opinion is better than Pacman because it contains a lot more packages and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to install it, and keep in mind this is different for all other OSs. And if you don't have Yahoo installed and you want to use the same command as I am, then please do install it using Pacman, which is the one that comes with Manjaro. Just going to install it, asking me for my password. I believe I have to be with root. No, I don't. Okay, I can simply continue. Don't add it. The pkg builds, you don't need to. Simply say no, and then build the package. And this is going to take some time. So yeah. Okay, so MongoDB installed successfully. This means we can move on and actually get the project set up completed. So I'm going to quickly clear all of this and leave my GitHub opened. So if you come to my GitHub, you'll see that there's already something there. If you obviously are seeing this right after the video gets out. But if you are a bit later, then going to the commit and click on lesson 1 setup project. This is really important because this is where you're going to get the raw bones project that you can work on. Go to browse files and now simply clone it. Okay, I'm going to quickly get out of here. I'm going to delete this folder right here. Give it just 1 second. Okay, and I'm going to go into the terminal and say git clone and simply paste the link. It is going to start fetching the setup, and it should have created a folder in my oh, I was in the wrong folder again. Let me just get out of here and go to, it's easier to go to roots ls ng desktop. Okay, I'm going to pull in here. I'm sorry about that, but just clone it. Okay, it is being created right now, and now we have the project in here. Let's just open it up so that you guys can see what's inside of it. I'm going to quickly remove the packages that we don't want to see. Okay, so this is our whole project. As you can see, it is divided into client and the server folder. Okay, this is really important. It is separated, and if you go into our clients, then we'll go and have our components, which will have our apps, our app. Then it is, for example, the home.js, which is really a simple a React file which just displays this h3 tag. Nothing really that's impressive, as you can see. And let's go back to the root folder. Okay, now we have the server. And in the server we have both models and routes. Models will be our objects. So if, for example, you have a house object, we'll have a model which will be called house.js, and it will have all of the information of the house that is relevant for that object. For example, the location, the ID, the price, all of that. It will be in there, and it is pretty much like an object, so it is really easy for you to go from Java to in this case, Node.js and MongoDB. Then we have the routes, and in the routes you'll have our API. Right now there's just a placeholder file in here, and this was just so that the folder didn't get deleted when I uploaded it to the GitHub, so I just place an empty file, an almost empty file. You must have a file with some kind of this structure in there. So that's what I did. And in the API, you'll have files for each and every single API call that you want to make that's different. For example, listings. You want to be able to create, to list. Let's go with these two. We'll create endpoints for that. So let's say API/listing/create. So in the API folder, we'll have a file which will be ready to receive those endpoint calls, API calls, and call a function with it. Okay, that's really as simple as that. Now going back, let's just explain how everything works and how everything is compiled. So we are using WebPack. WebPack is a Docker-like package which simply compiles all your project and gets everything ready for deployment. This is good because it becomes really easy for me to pick up this project and go to another PC and start working on it. One more critical part of it is that it is easy to pick up the project, send it to a VM somewhere in AWS or wherever, and get it ready for production with just like 3 lines of in the terminal. So that's really good, and it is extremely easy to work with. I mean, it is harder than it is to work with Docker, but it is still easy if you know where to find modules and what you want to use. So coming in here, we have the config folder, which will have the webpack.common.js. This has all of the info of all of the configuration for the Webpack. So as you can see, it compiles JS files, it compiles CSS files, and it has a bunch of things. Then it has the plugins that you can put on top of Webpack. For example, when you want to compile a project, you want to minify the JS files and the CSS files to make the file size smaller and harder for people to read. People that are not working in the project right now. You can have a plugin for that. So it is really a useful tool, and one that you should be at ease with and learn how to use well. Okay, so right now I'm going to quickly launch the project, and as you can see, we don't have any of the dependencies that are in the package.json. So in this file we have all of the dependencies used by this project. Okay, so in order to install it, and I'm going to quickly do it, I'm going to go into AIRBNB clone, and I'm going to simply say sudo npm install. Place my password, and it will start fetching all the modules that are inside the package.json file. And as you can see, a folder called node_modules was created. So give it some time. There are quite a bit of packages, so it will take some time. Okay, so after all of the packages are installed, you are able to go ahead and do sudo npm run start dev. This will start the server for development. If you wanted to go for production, then simply remove this and you are set to go. And the link used to access the MongoDB database is different, and I can show you that right now because it is actually important. If you come into the config file, it has both the link for the DB, whether it is for production, as it is in this first line, or for development, as it is in the second line. As you can see, for the first one, there is an admin and a password. For the second one, there isn't. So we are free to access it anytime we want. But before we launch that, start that piece of code, we'll do mongod. This will start the MongoDB database. Even though we are not using it right now, it will be needed for the server to start up. And it shut down. It isn't meant to do this, so let's try it with sudo mongod, place your password, and this time it should work. It always asks for root permissions. So as you can see, it is listening on the port 127.0.0.1 home, and then it is waiting for connection on the port 27017. So let's just do npm run start dev, click enter, and it will start running, compile successfully, and yeah, that's it. And if you come in here, welcome to the AIRBNB SimCoders clone tutorial. One thing that you can't forget, and I'll do it again just to remember you guys, is to simply go into another terminal and say sudo mongod. This will start the MongoDB part, and it will get everything ready for you to be able to connect to the database. So you have to do this, otherwise I believe this will fail and you'll be running around not knowing what to do. But yeah, that's how you do it. Right now the web page is running. It is running in this URL 0.0.0 in the port 8080. And yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial. I just wanted a quick introduction to the setup and how everything works, and I wanted to dedicate a video to that because if in the future anyone wants to use the project that I have in my GitHub, then this way they just have to watch a video and they'll be able to get it up and running in no time. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. In the next video we'll do the login and the registration part. That will be done using Firebase, and it is a really cool system, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy to be able to start coding per se. So yeah, I hope you guys watching, I hope you guys like this video. I hope to see you again tomorrow, and ciao.